Hi everyone, it's Henry the computer guy. Actually today we are going to look at Microsoft Word, and specifically I'll talk about what we call the page setup and the page layout, and I'll only focus on the columns, the breaks, the line numbers and the hyphenation. So assuming that we had our document, let's get some dummy text there equals rand into, let's say, 4 by 4 comma 4. Press enter. That's the information that we are having into our document. So I'm going to use the page setup to make some changes here. You'll see it. It's really fun. So assuming that I wanted to make this information from paragraph 2 to be taken to page 2, I would actually use what we call the breaks. So under the breaks, we have what we call the page breaks and the section what? Section breaks. So I'll right away begin with what we call the page breaks. So, and we shall begin with what we call the page. And they are telling us that mark the point at which one page ends and the next page begins. So we want this information to begin onto page what? Page 2. So I'd actually click in front of that paragraph, then I'll actually come onto my break, then I click onto page. So that information is going to be taken to page 2. So we can undo. We take that information back. So I think you've seen how the first one works. Now we come to the second, which is saying that columns, and it is telling us that indicate that the text following the column break will begin in the next column, but we are not having columns here. So what we are going to do, we're going to first put columns into our work. So I'll actually come to the columns. Let's say I want 2 columns. It's going to make our columns into that document. So now I want to break this information to go to the next column. So I'll actually click where I want to begin from. Let's say from this second paragraph. Then suddenly it is broken onto the second column. Now I actually click at the beginning, then I come to my break, then I will say column. That information is going to be taken to the next column. So you're seeing this column is remaining empty. Are we together? Now if we undo again, that is it. So now we come to what we call the text wrapping. And it is telling us that we can separate text around objects on web pages, such as caption, text from body text. So we are not having any image here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put an image here. Let's say clip art. So I'll come to the insert, I'll come to the clip art. I'll say, let's say I need a computer. Then I'll need this. So assuming that they had put a text wrapping of, let's say, square. Now that information is covering or moving around the picture that we have put there, or the clip art that we have put into our document. But I want to separate this text from this image. So what I will do, I will click where I want to begin from. So I'll come to my page layout. Of course, I'll come to the break again. Then I'll come to text wrapping. So that information goes on leaving that page. So you can do it multiple times till when you separate that information from that picture. So you can do it multiple times up to when you get what you want. So now the information has been separated from our pic. That one was specifically the text wrapping. So we come to the second thing, which is the section break. Now if I had my information here, let's say the last paragraph, I want to break it to the next page, but another section. So I would actually come to section break, then I'll say next page, and they're telling me that insert a section break and start the new section on the next page. That is specifically going to do that one for us. It is beginning another section but onto a second page. That is actually, so it has separated this and made another section onto the next page. Are we together? So if we undo that information again, it goes back to our page 1. Now we come to what we call the continuous. We can make another section but onto the same the same page. I'd actually come, for example, I'm here. I would actually come, click there, then come to my continuous. It is going to come down. It has been taken to the next line onto the same page, but with a new section. So assuming that we give our pages numbers, let's first insert page numbers. Yes, I'm going to put them at the top, then I will choose this one, so we have that as we're still having one page. Now I've broken my information to the next line, but with a new section. That was specifically the continuous. So now we can also break this information or break our pages using even numbers or even pages. So this is telling us that insert a section break and start the new section on the next even number. That means that it's going to be moving in even numbers, 2, 4, 6, like that. So when I come here, let's say I want to break from this last paragraph, I would come and say break, then come to even. It is going to take me to page 2. Are we together? So if I actually had some information down here, let's say if I press enter and I'll come and say equals rand. I had some information here, let's say 2 by 2. Press enter. Actually get some other information, then I'll press enter. That is the information we have. So if I break again, this information is going to be taken to page what? Page 4. Remember, this is page 2. We are moving in even numbers. So when I come to my break, I'll come to even. It's going to be taken to page what? Page 4. Are we saying we are from page 2, then page what? Page 4. That is breaking the information, but in even pages. So we can undo. Assuming that we break it in order. So when I come down here, it is going to be broken in even, in odd numbers. So when I actually click onto this, it's going to be taken to page 3. Are we together? Remember the other one was page 2. It went to page 4. So this one has been broken to page 2 to page 1, page 3. So it is going to move in odd numbers. That one has actually been the break. Hope everyone has understood that. So now we come to what we call the line numbers. So let me take this information back to the first page that we had. We can undo, then we come back to our page 1 that we are having. So we can as well remove this image, then we remove the clip art, then we put this information back to its normal. Specifically, if I remove the columns from this information, I can come back and say, just want it to go back to 1 column. So that is the information we're having. Are we together? Now, we come to the line numbers. Assuming that that is the information I'm having, I want to give my information numbers. I can highlight that information. Then I'll come to the line numbers. Automatically, it is always on none, but we can make it in any way that we feel like. We can use the continuous. For example, if I give that, it is going to name these numbers continuing from 1 to up to the numbers that you're having. For example, if I come and click down here, let's say my entire will be continuing to add the other numbers like that. It will continue adding numbers, so it is continuous. So we can undo again. Then we have another one which says restart each page. So that means that it is going to give numbers, but when we go on to the next page, it will restart and give us another number. So when I come and say I want to send this information to the next page, are we together? So we have this and we have this. So when I'm actually highlighting this information, I want to give numbers. So I would say restart each page. It is going to make that one up to 12, then it will start from number 1 onto the second page. Are we together? So it has actually given number 1 up to number 12, then going on to the second page, it has restarted with the number 1. Now, we can also use what we call restart each section. So if I'm actually on this and I remove the numbers, let's say I'm having none. Let's say come back here, we have none, and actually I start another section here. Let's say I'm here, then I come and say break, and make a midsection but continuous. Are we together? So when I highlight these two information or paragraphs, it is going to give them numbers, but when it is going to restart another section with another number. So that is specifically that. It is giving 1, 2 up to 6. Then from here, it is another section. It is giving 1 up to 5. That is specifically what we have onto that one. But we can also use what we call the suppress the current paragraph. For example, if I have this paragraph and I want it to be having numbers, I can suppress it. It is going to be suppressed. In other words, the numbers are going to be removed. Are we together? That is it specifically. So we can also suppress that information. Okay, so we can undo again. We go back to our first paragraph where we are started from. Now we have another one, line numbers, line numbering option, which is the last option on the line numbers. We can highlight our information. Remember, I told you that we can give them numbers. We can say continuous like that, or we can come down to this one and we see. We can come to more line number options. We can say that start from, let's say it's going to start from 2. We say, if you press OK, this information is going to start from 2 here. It is not starting from 1 as we used to do it. So we have told it that you begin from 2. We can also make another option there. Let's go back. Line numbers, we can say begin from 1 and again count by, let's say we count by 2. It's going to count by 2. So it starts from 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is skipping 1. So that means that it's counting 2 by 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Specifically, that is it. Okay, now let's remove the line numbers. We come to what we call the hyphenation, which is the last one. So you can come and say none. Now, assuming that we had columns here, let's say we had 2 columns into our work. Let's say we have made it actually come back to home, make it justified. Now, what does the hyphenation do? Or what does the hyphenation do? Remember, this information, all these words which are not ending. For example, we have some words here which are not ending. That, for example, that the margin is really used up and the word is still continuing. So what we can actually do, we can put hyphenations to tell a person that the word you're really saying here is really continuing. So let's highlight our information and say, then we come and say we can specifically, if by default it is always put on none, but we can also put it on automatic, such that whenever it says that a word is not ending, it will add this hyphen. So for example, if you have gallery, it is saying that we have GAL, it puts an hyphen, then it finishes that word from here. Then we have here coordinate, we have here document. For example, if I highlight it and I come to what we call manual, you're going to see that galleries has really been put to hyphenation. So that is specifically what I had for you on. We can also put it on hyphenates. We also have more options. We can really make it automatic, or we can really hyphenate the words only in caps lock, or everything that we really have into our document. And we can also put a limit on the hyphenation that we really have into our document. So specifically, this tutorial has been all about on the columns, the breaks, the line numbers, and hyphenation. Thank you for watching. See you in the next